pleasant good morning to you. It is Thursday, May 12th. I'm Shane Celia, and this is the CBC Morning Report. Several St. James communities this morning remain on high alert following a spike in armed robberies targeting female residents in recent weeks. The concern is being shared by the MP for St. James South and also the police. Our Sharika Griffith visited the area and files this report.
Residents of Husband St. James and surrounding areas are living on edge after several of them, all women, have been robbed by a knife or cutlass-wielding suspect in recent weeks. Member of Parliament for the area, Sandra Husbands, says it's concerning to say the least.
From time to time, we've had incidences like peeping toms. Sometimes you get petty larceny where someone takes something from out of a garage, that type of thing. But recently, we have noticed a step up in robberies, and this is where they have been attacking females and taking away their purses. Now, this has been extremely unnerving, and within the last 3 to 4 weeks, we've had about 5 such incidences, and I discovered another 1 or 2 this week.
CBC understands in at least one instance, the robber subsequently returned and left the victim's purse outside her home. When a news team visited the Husbands Heights area, few residents were seen outside, although it's unclear if this is a result of recent incidents or if they were simply away at work. One concerned resident who did not wish to be identified said the formation of neighborhood watches has been a way of trying to deter would-be criminals.
We have our community watches, we have our community chats, and we are very, very aware because we have lots of persons who will be home during the day now, retired, vacation, whatever. So we are communicating on a more regular basis, and I would say the network up to a couple of weeks now, we have been getting together more frequently to tackle this situation via or chats and meetings and that sort of thing.
There have also been discussions with the relevant agencies about clearing overgrown lots and illuminating poorly lit areas in the constituency.
The unkempt lots by people who don't live in the area, that they don't send to clean them, and those present a risk to those who do live there. And then some of the homes have high hedges, or they've got other things that facilitate burglary or robbery and make their homes a soft target. Inspector Griffith has offered to do an assessment, security assessments for every home. It is completely free, so that they can be told what are the areas that are of concern on their property.
Crime Prevention Officer Inspector Stephen Griffith says lawmen are conducting both covert and overt investigations, but stresses the need for residents to report loitering and any other suspicious activity in the area, taking photos and videos or noting descriptions of the individuals. He's also urging residents to be on their guard.
I find that there are several persons who come home at night, especially females, and then they wait until they get to the door to look for the keys in 3 bags. This places you in a vulnerable position because you end up being on the outside of the house for a longer period than is necessary. Or you come home from the supermarket, again, you're trying to put a whole set of groceries in the house and you're home alone. My suggestion to you would be to take the cold stuff, which would normally be in 1 bag, enter the house, put it away, and at daylight move the other things.
Inspector Griffith says removing facilitators like ladders, barrels and blocks from around the house and having proper outdoor lighting can also help to minimize the likelihood of being targeted by thieves. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
And in some other news from police, late last night, there was a stabbing incident just outside Sheraton Center on the other side of the road. This is where a number of people, 2 people really, were stabbed. One is in critical condition, the other is in stable condition. This stabbing occurred, as I said, last night along Solomon Road, Christchurch, opposite Sheraton Center. A 43-year-old male, the driver, and the 35-year-old male, the conductor of the route taxi, plies that route. And another male who was a passenger on the said route were all on board this ZR. The route taxi was traveling along towards Bridgetown. The passenger got in a few minutes prior to the altercation. The conductor and the passenger had an argument that later led to an altercation as the vehicle reached in the area of Sheraton Center. The conductor received a puncture wound under his left eye, a wound to his right palm, and a wound to his right hand as well, and a forefinger and abrasions about his hand. The passenger received several stab wounds about his body. Both injured parties were transported to the QEH by separate ambulances for medical treatment. At that time, the passenger's medical condition was listed as critical, while the conductor was said to be stable. Investigations are ongoing, and as we get the details, we'll bring them to you here on the Morning Report and in subsequent newscast. We'll take a break here and come back with COVID-19 updates and some breaking international news. The COVID-19 death toll in Barbados has risen to 431. This after a 70-year-old fully vaccinated man passed away from the virus yesterday. Meanwhile, 513 new cases of COVID-19 were recorded out of 1,697 tests conducted on Tuesday. Of the positive cases, the bulk were in the 18 years and older age group, 383. The number of people in isolation facilities was 109, while 4,174 people were in home isolation. Let's go over to St. Lucia now. Gros Islet MP Kenson Casimir says the decades-old Gros Islet Friday night party will go on despite calls for an end to mass crowd events amid an uptick in COVID-19 cases there. The event resumed last Friday and was hailed as a success.
The resumption of the Gros Islet Friday night street party drew more than a packed crowd, raising concerns among citizens about the event being a super spreader amidst rising COVID-19 cases. Many have called for its discontinuation. Gros Islet MP Kenson Casimir, however, sees it differently. He believes that the event is being unfairly targeted.
The fact of the matter is, every single community we've been engaged in mass crowd events. The question is, do we have the wherewithal, do we have the fundamentals in terms of police, in terms of the healthcare system, in terms of everything to manage all those events? And of course, we saw Gros Islet Friday night looking to do the right thing in terms of ensuring that all the relevant documents were in place. And because of that, Gros Islet really was treated unfairly, because you had the T2Zine, you had the other mass crowd events ongoing for weeks. But Gros Islet Friday night was said, the vendors in Gros Islet were told not to have any event. And so I think good sense prevailed. I think we need to continue to strengthen the fundamentals of our economies in terms of the other institutions, the police, the fire service, every single one of them, so that we can have safe events.
Many residents of Gros Islet depend on the Friday night event to generate income. Its suspension over the last 2 years has negatively impacted scores of families. While recognizing that more can be done to ensure the safety of patrons, including taking personal responsibility for one's health and safety, Casimir believes that the event needs to go on in the interest of saving livelihoods.
Now, in what is a breaking story and one that is being followed across the world, there are calls for a full and independent and transparent investigation of the killing of an Al Jazeera journalist, and they're mounting with world leaders demanding that those responsible be held to account. The veteran journalist, described as an icon of Palestinian coverage, was shot by Israeli forces while reporting in the occupied West Bank yesterday.
Don't shoot the messenger, unless you're an Israeli soldier. In that case, you're seemingly okay with shooting a reporter who's clearly identifiable as a journalist and poses no threat. Shireen Abu Akleh is the latest reporter to be killed by the Israeli military, which has a long history of targeting journalists and news outlets, particularly Al Jazeera. Shireen, a veteran reporter who spent her life covering events in occupied Palestine, was among a group of journalists documenting what was happening in Jenin early on Wednesday. According to eyewitnesses and video footage, she was wearing a safety vest and helmet, both of which clearly identified her as a member of the press. Despite this, or maybe because of it, Shireen was shot and killed.
We were going to film the Israeli army operation, and suddenly they shot us without asking us to leave or stop filming. The first bullet hit me, and the second bullet hit Shireen. They killed her in cold blood because they are killers and specialize in killing only Palestinian people. We had no resistance, and there was no Palestinian resistance at all at the scene.
Journalist Ali Samoudi was also shot and injured in the attack.
There was no exchange of fire. So there is no possibility whatsoever that a Palestinian have shot Shireen Abu Akleh. The Israeli army always uses these excuses to cover up the crimes they are committing against Palestinians, including Palestinian journalists.
According to rights groups, Israel has killed 50 journalists since 2000 and injured more than 144 in the past 4 years alone. This is also not the first time Israel has intentionally targeted Al Jazeera. Last year, the network's office in Gaza was bombed to rubble, while journalist Javar al-Bideri was assaulted by Israeli forces whilst reporting on Israel's ethnic cleansing of Arab residents in occupied East Jerusalem's Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood. Israeli authorities say they've launched an investigation, but human rights groups say they have little faith in Israeli justice, particularly with renowned organizations like Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International accusing Israel of implementing a system of apartheid.
Simply horrific what's happening on that side of the earth as far as journalists being targeted. There we hope that there is justice for that Al Jazeera reporter. Time now to go over to Wendy to see what she's saying on this Thursday edition of Mornin Barbados. Wendy, what are you looking at today?
Well, good morning, Shane, and a terrific Thursday to you. Well, this morning, today's actually International Day of Plant Health. Yes, plants have a day too, Shane. You know, they bring joy to so many people. So we'll be having along someone from the Ministry of Agriculture to tell us all about plant nutrition and care and, you know, what we really should be doing for them. It's also time to pay tribute. Barbados has a number of entertainers who've done so much in the island. And BACA, the Barbados Association of Creatives and Artists, are going to be staging their first benevolent concert, and the tributes will be given to the Mighty Griner and to Richard Stout. So they'll be along to tell us all about that concert and how we can all get on board. So details of those stories and more ahead, Shane.
Thanks, Wendy. The Caribbean Examinations Council seemingly responding to a request from the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union. You'll hear exactly what that was right here on the Morning Report. With the expected reduction in the tourism income stream for businesses this summer due to a slowdown in the cruise ship market, many have come up with contingencies to see them through the 6-month period until cruising returns in October-November. Wendy Burke has more on this story.
The 6-month absence of cruise tourism from Barbados' tourism product isn't really up for much debate. It seems that areas like the Mediterranean are now far more attractive, and there's not much one can do when it comes to consumers wanting what they want. However, given that this dearth will be there for our tourism providers, such as those in the recreational, cruise attractions, as well as places of interest and/or taximen, they will be losing out, however, what sporadic business did come. However, some, like Adrian Cumberbatch, who helps with the family's glass-bottom boat, says they barely get 10% of cruising, if so much.
This year, we're looking at targeting the Caribbean market, those who could fly inter-island, and also locals as well for the summer.
Over in Bathsheba, Andromeda Gardens has a similar story. Hardly any cruisers.
We don't really get a big traffic from the cruise ships, to be honest with you. Locals, we're way before COVID, it was always free for locals, and the main reason why we have it free for locals is that persons to get to know a bit more about Iris and about the garden as well, because Iris did a lot for Barbados.
Andromeda Gardens plans to use its other resources to stay afloat. However, the Flower Forest will miss those cruise arrivals and has already put contingencies in place.
We have placed a special arm for locals, where we have reduced our tickets, which are usually $30 for adults, and the adult ticket starts from the age of 13. So it's usually $30, but we have it at $15 at the moment.
Over at Hunt's Gardens, manager Anthony Hunt says he won't miss what he didn't have, so the lack of cruise passengers is not a negative for him.
Even in the whole of winter months, we hardly get any cruise passengers coming here on big transportation. They take them to other places, and some of those attractions have already closed for summer. But summer for me is a big time because we got Cropover, we got the visitors coming from the other islands, plus all the locals that come. Because locals have got to appreciate my garden and the quality we put in over the years. So because we've done the work, now we're reaping the benefit.
And what do the taximen think of this idea? They knew of the absence of summer business 4 months ago, but were hopeful authorities could help to bring a ship or two this way instead of the areas they're now frequenting.
We took it hard, but it's just what it is. There's a lot of challenges externally, and these challenges are not basically centered around Barbados.
He explained that they have found contingencies with hotels, supermarkets, clinics, camps, and other niches, which they carved out in COVID and will revert to. The area which he's concerned about for his membership is the pressure from lenders. And the officials have been doing their part for all in the industry through planned summer activities, as the tourism minister explains.
New initiatives being rolled out over the course of the coming weeks, which will include many of the concierge services so that guests, wherever they are staying, whether they are long stay visitors or they are on a cruise ship for a day, they are able to see not just the established experiences, but those that are perhaps a little bit more authentic and, part of the Barbadian culture.
Wendy Burke, CBC News.
Thank you, Wendy. The Caribbean Examinations Council has responded in favor of a request from the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union to release broad topics for students sitting upcoming examinations. The first set of broad topics was released on Tuesday. The BSTU President Mary Ann Redmond says this was a major bone of contention, as the union says this is now critical to help the students prepare for CXE and CAPE tests. This was her position before the release.
We are very concerned that there has not as yet been the release of broad topics for the students. If we have been fighting and have succeeded in getting that 3 weeks extension, that has been in concert with our understanding that the broad topics would have been released immediately. To have that extended time without the release of the broad topics is an absurdity. The students have to be able to focus on the areas that will allow them to do best in these exams. And the release of broad topics in no way compromises the validity, the reliability, the integrity of the exams. And it is something that international examination bodies have been doing for the last 2 years since the onset of COVID.
Now, since then, the BSTU boss has been explaining that failure by the CXC to release the remaining broad topics in a timely manner could put exam students at a serious disadvantage. She explains that outlining broad topics will not compromise the exam.
For example, we know that as hard as teachers tried, there's going to be some teachers and some students who have not been able to complete the syllabus. And if teachers, for example, have concentrated on topics that are not appearing on the exam paper, that could have shifted their focus for these 3 weeks of the extension so that they could have tried now to expose the children to those topics, to give them the best fighting chance. It also helps children focus more readily on the topics that will come in the exams. You're not giving them the questions, you're giving them the topics.
That's the BSTU President Mary Ann Redmond. In sports, St. George Primary took away the Lions' share of victories, 3 at yesterday's Chauffette Frosty's Knapsack Distance Relay Championships. Competing in the Marcia Trotman Zone at the Usain Bolt Sports Complex, St. George's biggest rival was Charles F. Broome Primary, who won the first ever event of the session. Well, that was the mixed under-9s 4x400 meters, while St. George finished second. However, St. George bounced back in the girls under-11 4x600 relay to beat Charles F. into second. St. George returned to also win the 4x600 meters boys events with Charles F. in second place once again. Let's take a look at some of those races.
And they're off, and immediately on the inside we see Elliot Belgrave. But again, St. George and Charles F. Broome going out pretty hard. In this case, the athlete from St. George is out pretty strong. But remember, this is 800 and not 400. So they still need to pace themselves. And here we go. St. George Primary coming home for the win. Here we go. She crosses the line easily. Well done. And that's a good win for St. George. Taking that one, the under 11 girls 4x600 meters event, and now 4x600 meter event for under 11s. It looks like St. George hands over first, and right behind him is Charles F. Broome 520 from St. George. That is Devontae Green. He is on his way home to victory. Athlete 520 from St. George. That is Devontae Green. He's going to bring it home for his team. He looks very strong coming down the home stretch. St. George can claim victory here in the boys under 11 4x600 meter event. Just looking at the clock, it starts the clock now just at about 9 minutes 26.93 seconds. Coming in for a powerful second, the athlete from Charles F. Broome.
Earlier in the day in the Anton and Norris zone, the winners were spread across more schools. Cuthbert Moore Primary won the girls under 11 4x600 meter, while Arthur Smith won the boys equivalent. In the under 13s 4x800 meters, Deacons took the boys and Grantley Prescott Memorial won the girls. Day 3 is set for today with another 2 zones, the Patsy Calendar zone in the morning session and the Obadeli Thompson zone in the afternoon. Of course, we'll have live coverage here for you right here on TV8 and 94.7 FM, the best 24/7, and that coverage starts at 10 this morning. So look out for it and join us here on CBC TV8 and on radio. Time now to take a look at the weather. You're getting a different view at the radar. You can see not too much precipitation in and around Barbados. You can see those clouds are a bit further off, about 50 kilometers off our shores. So we're not expecting any rain really today, some light showers possibly. But that's why things will be so warm today as they were yesterday. The temperature right now is up to 27 degrees Celsius, and it's feeling like 29 degrees Celsius already. Those winds today are coming out of the east to southeast at 29 kilometers per hour. The relative humidity is only up to 73%, and the barometric pressure is 1014 millibars. The sun will set this evening at around 6:16, so we have a good set of daylight hours, so enjoy what will be another pretty hot day right here in Barbados. And that's it for this edition of the CBC Morning Report. I'm Shane Seeley. I'll see you at 7 with headline news. But coming up next is our Wendy Burke with Mornin Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Hello and good morning. Here's wishing you all a terrific Thursday. I hope you're up and ready and rearing to go. It's my pleasure to bring you Morning Barbados today. I'm Wendy Burke. Now, today we happen to be celebrating International Day of Plant Health. Yes, it seems everyone has a day, and why not our plants? They give so many people joy. But to tell us what it's all about will be Mr. Michael James, who is with the Ministry of Agriculture and its the Food and Nutritional Security Ministry. He'll be telling us all about it because it's the 12th of May, and we're now going to welcome Mr. Michael James. Good morning to you, Mr. James.
Good morning, Ms. Burt. How are you?
I am well. Now, as the Senior Agricultural Officer for the Plant Protection Unit and talking about plant health, what does it really mean to have a healthy plant?
Let's put it in context. This came about in 2016. A delegate from Dominica said, you know, a lot of people talk about plants, but I don't think they really understand just how important they are. So we should have a International Plant Health Month. Over time that got decided, and then last year, for the first time in 2020 to 2021, we celebrated International Year of Plant Health. And then they decided, well, we should have a day that should be commemorated. So the UN decided, we put it to the delegates, and it was decided that the 12th of May every year will be called International Day of Plant Health. Now, let's put it in context. Plants provide a lot of things for us. 98% of the oxygen that we breathe come from plants. 80% of the food that we eat come from plants. Not only do they feed us, they also provide shelter, wooden houses and so forth. You also have about 25 to 30% of all the medications come or derive from plants. So they're extremely important. And you can't imagine a world without plants. I mean, I'm sure you like flowers. People like to, when they're driving through the countryside, especially during November, December, like to see the key and arrows. So these things, these aesthetic things are pleasing and they benefit you holistically. So without plants, we really would not exist.
Okay.
And when we talk about plant health, we're talking about ensuring that these plants are there for you and I to enjoy and for future generations.
And I guess that's why the theme this year is protecting plants, protecting life. Now, there are some things that you may see from time to time. Yes, we enjoy the idyllicness, the beauty, the aesthetics that plants can bring, especially when they have the colors of yellow and red and the pinks and so on. But then there are times, Michael, when we will see a leaf and it's supposed to be green, but we're seeing a lot of black smut or some white dusty looking fungi and things like that. What are some of the main things now impacting plant life in Barbados in terms of the fungi and such like?
Okay, so you have a number of different things. You can have the environment actually, Wendy, that impacts on the plant itself. If it's too dry, that can kill the plants. If too much water, that can also kill the plant. In terms of now we're talking microorganisms, you have fungi, yes, which we have like anthracnose on yams. What you call the black stuff is sooty mole that we see on a lot of our plants right now. But sooty mole in itself is just one symptom of it. The actual cause of that is an insect, because it's the feeding of the insect and the exudate given off by the insect that allows that black stuff to grow in your leaves, and it reduces photosynthesis, so you have reduced yields. Citrus, I know you've seen that we've had a lot of citrus now. Then that is a worldwide problem caused by something called citrus greening, which is a bacterial infection unvectored or spread by another insect. And in some cases, I mean, in Florida, that has caused up to $4 billion in losses. I mean, a lot of people don't think of it, but you see your orange juice going up and up and the prices going up. There's a reason for that. Or when you go to buy orange, you realize that it costs $1 or $2 more, then you understand, because without plants, without the ability to produce these things, prices will go up. So when they say protect plants, protect life, we're not only protecting the plants just to see them, we're protecting the plants so that we can still enjoy the fruits, part of the pun, of those plants, and that they're available to everybody. Imagine a world, I mean, without, let's say, the war that's going on now, and you see that prices are rising for all the grains and so forth. Imagine you not being able to eat bread, be it from wheat flour or something like cassava flour. So there are a lot of things that can affect plants that we in the ministry and farmers in general would try to mitigate so that we will have those things that we can enjoy.
Well, one of the things I tend to enjoy, and I've not been able to enjoy in a while because of the impact of insects on the plant, is a good soursop or sugar apple. All we're seeing on these trees are the sugar apples actually coming up, but then they tend to shrivel and turn black.
Yes, they look like if they're mummified, and that is caused by two things. One, there's a small insect, that's the anono seed wasp, that lays the eggs into punctures the fruit, and once you have an opening, just like if you had a cut, you can get an infection spreading, and then there's a fungus that then goes in and cause that sort of mummification. So when you hit the nail on the head, let's go back to even the giant African snail that caused a lot of we spent over $2 million, and that's just the Ministry of Agriculture alone, not to mention what farmers had to use to try to grapple with that. We had the pink hibiscus mealybug back in the early 2000s, where you have this particular insect that came in, and it caused extreme damage throughout the Caribbean. We were lucky in that we had, and this is where I'm commentary now, we had what we call biological control agents that when we saw or when it was identified in Barbados, we were able to release them. So there are a number of different ways that we look to help plants, to help protect them. One, and the first thing, I know you said you like to see beautiful things. When persons travel, you find that people like to, to see something new. Oh boy, mine that's down there, but he ain't got nothing look like this, or this flower look real good, I can show off, and they smuggle it in, or they try to say, oh well, I get past quarantine, I get past customs. But when you do these things, you bring in plants or plant material that you do not know what they're carrying, because oftentimes the things are not seen by the naked eye. So that when you bring these in and you plant them, you show off to your friends, you have also inadvertently brought in a disease or an insect, and that can cause damage to the plant's life, the plant biodiversity. And I'm not talking about yams and cassava. It could infect your coconut palms or palms in general, or any other ornamental. So that is one reason we try to exclude pests. So plant quarantine, they're not there to take away your stuff, as people believe, and go in the back and eat them when you're gone. That is not the role of plant quarantine. We are there to protect Barbados. So if you tell you bring something, Wendy, you say, but James, Mr. James, I see this thing, I really like it, and I decide I would try a thing. Well, sorry, when they will tell you, well, it's not allowed. So therefore, we would have to destroy it. And there's an easy process. If you do want to bring in these things, you apply to the plant quarantine region within the Ministry of Agriculture, and we can tell you under what conditions you can bring it in. It might not be that you can't bring it in, but you might have to get it treated first. So that is about one thing that we do. Another area, Wendy, is that for years Barbados has led the way in biological control. Over 100 years ago, we started using a particular parasitoid within the sugarcane industry that helped to keep in check a particular pest called the sugarcane moth borer. And for that reason, we never really use insecticides within the sugarcane industry because we had a biological control agent. Imagine that, over 100 years ago. So you have two things there. You have one where we try to exclude, and another where if it gets in, we try to control. And control does not mean you have to use chemicals. There are a number of different stages, what we call the systems approach or integrated pest management that you can use.
I'm glad you mentioned that we don't always have to use chemicals, because there are people who, like say for example, if I have a particular lawn grass that I want to keep going, but I find there are certain thorns growing up between it that I don't want, I will be trying more than one thing from the store in terms of trying to control those weeds. But I might not recognize that what I'm spraying to control my weeds is actually harming the farmer who's a half-mile away, because it gets picked up, becomes airborne, and might be damaging to his or her crops.
Correct. And you know, you touch on a number of different things. We can spend the whole morning talking about this, Wendy. You're talking about the actual abuse of chemicals or not using them correctly. Oftentimes people do not read the labels, so they might tell you, don't spray this, and you should not really spray at times when the wind is high. So you spray where the winds are lower. There are things that deal with a particular, you're spraying the long grass, but maybe using the wrong type of chemical. So these are things that you need to discuss with us at the Ministry of Agriculture or the input supplier. And as you said, there are other things. You can actually go and pull the grass. It's good exercise. Or, for that matter, you can use something like vinegar, and that helps in controlling it. So there are a number of alternatives, which if you ask, and this is one thing, we don't know everything. So simply pick up the phone, call the Ministry of Agriculture, and ask, well, James or Mr. Taylor, these are things, because it is important that we get it right. Not, as you say, you can cause damage inadvertently to others. And when I say that, I'll give you another story. Imagine in between 1845 to 1848, what we call the Irish potato, the white potato, did not really originate in Ireland. It actually originated in Peru, but they grew it in Ireland. And during that time, 1845 to 1848, they had a particular disease called Phytophthora, which is a fungus that decimated that crop and resulted in over 1 million people dying, and it resulted in what we call the Irish potato famine. Okay, and as I said, a lot of people died, over 1 million, and then a lot of Irish people migrated to the United States. So you can see that there are a lot of things that can cause by just you bringing plants in, or you're not doing the right things.
But that's why we have you, James, at the Plant Protection Unit, because you are there to keep us safe. Now, the day is today, the 12th of May, under the theme, Protecting Plants, Protecting Life. Are you having an open day? Can I come up there and get my sick plant treated?
Well, what we're having, we're going to have 2 plant clinics. One this afternoon, and that's going to be held at Massey Warrens from 1 to 4. And the other tomorrow at Carter's in Wildy at 1 to 4. And yes, when there you can bring your samples in a paper bag or a Ziploc bag. And myself and my colleague, Mr. Brett Taylor, will be there to try to identify or get solutions for you. So that is what we'll be doing in Barbados, but throughout the world, there are other people doing things. I mean, in Jamaica, they're having a number of webinars, in Dominica, in St. Lucia, and in Rome itself, Italy, they're actually having at 7:30 this morning, there's going to be an actual conference dealing with celebrating this inaugural International Day of Plant Health, and we're looking at the seriousness of it, and the Ministry of Agriculture will continue to do its best to ensure that we keep plants safe, and in so doing protect the life of Barbadians.
We thank you so much for that, Mr. James. You and the Ministry of Agriculture. I've been talking with Mr. Michael James, the Senior Agricultural Officer of the Plant Protection Unit at the Ministry of Agriculture and Food and Nutritional Security. Thank you so much for joining me today, and happy International Day of Plant Health.
Thank you, Wendy. Have a good day too.
Thank you so much. Yes, that was Mr. James there telling us all about how to keep our plants healthy and what's impacting them. When we return after the break, we'll tell you about some other people who have made an impact on Barbados's cultural landscape and how we'll be celebrating them. We'll be back.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And we're back. It's time now to talk entertainment. And we are talking the Barbados Association of Creatives and Artists. With me this morning will be Mr. Anderson Blood Armstrong, who's the Vice President of that association. Now, they are going to be having their first annual Benevolent Fun concert, and it's going to be on the 15th of the month at the Barbados Museum and Historical Society under the patronage of Sir Trevor Carmichael. Good morning to you, Blood.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you today?
I am well, and you?
I am as usual.
Okay, then. Now, the concert is going to be giving tribute to two icons within Barbados's entertainment, that being the Mighty Griner and Richard Stout. Why was it decided that these would be the two firsts for your inaugural event?
Well, because basically of the contribution I've made over the years, and when you look at it and you look back at the type of contribution both of them have made and the amount of years that they have been in the business, we thought it fit at this time in order to honor both of them. And incidentally, they're both actually born in the same year, so, and they're the very same age, just a month apart, basically, you know. So we thought it was really fitting to take it to these two guys and to honor them, because too often, you know, we wait until guys or the ladies are gone to say, well, you know, job well done. And to honor, now that these guys are still here with us, we thought it best, you know, at this time to honor both Richard Stout and the Mighty Griner, Mr. MacDonald Blenman, please.
And you know what we always say, give them the flowers while they're still with us. And both are still with us and doing well, because to see them still perform on stage, you know, even though they're getting up in age, is awesome. I mean, and they are still there for it, Blood. They still come on stage dressed to be on stage, because these are people who believe that their performance is not just about the song that they're rendering, but it's a complete package. And I think the rest of you coming up would have learned so much from them along the way. Now tell me what the format is going to be on Sunday, and who some of us can actually expect to see when we come out.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the format basically is quite simple. The show is going to start at 6 o'clock. Doors will be open by 5 p.m. You will have the performances from some of the best entertainers you could come across in Barbados between 6 and 8 p.m. Then after that, after the show, it's going to be nice and tight. And after the show, you're going to have an after party with DJ King Scorpion. So yeah, if you want to come out and have a dance and a little jig, of course you can come and do that and get some fantastic entertainment. Now let me tell you about who's going to be on that show. Yours truly, I'm going to be there. Let me put myself in there first, so I just forget myself and things and things, you know. Anyhow, so you got Choice Special. You've got guys like King Servant, Bumba Imara is going to be there. Mexican and Red will also be making an appearance. King Classic, because he's still the reigning Calypso King, you know. Nobody can defeat him as yet, you know. He's still out there, so hanging on for that crown. Then you've got Lando, Rashida Codrington is going to be there. Kid Sight is going to be there. Mr. Dale, RPP is going to be there. iWeb, Bagina Kente. The MC is going to be Ishaka McNeil, none other than Ishaka. Colin Spencer, Apache, Betty B, Gabby, Bit is also going to be there. And the announcer. So just to name a few, if you want to call them a few, they are going to be there all representing and paying tribute to these two wonderful guys.
And where are we to go to get tickets to be a part of this great show?
Oh, well, tickets are available from online from TicketPal. You can also go to Lucky Horseshoe, that's Warren's, Worthing, and Bagatelle. You can also get tickets from Carlton and Nail One Supermarkets, Emerald City, and Digicel in Sky Mall. So yeah, tickets are there. They're just $40. You can go on out and get your tickets today, because this show is just around the corner. This Sunday. That's right. The 15th.
You mentioned that there's going to be an after party, which means we're going to be dancing, we're going to be enjoying it. You know, Scorpion does those oldie goldies like no one else does.
That's right.
So that means crowd, larger audience. What's happening? We're still in COVID, Blood.
Of course, we are still in COVID, and the COVID unit, they've given us their blessings to do the show, and we will make sure that all the necessary protocols are in place. So yes, people, I mean, if you come up with someone and a song is playing, you're going to dance with them because you came with them. And I guess the next couple, you know, who would be dancing 3 to 6 feet away from you will enjoy the music and have a party the same way. We'll all, I mean, I'm going to make sure that we wear our masks. We're going to make sure that, you know, everyone is sanitized. Getting, of course, you have to be either vaccinated, or you must be fully vaccinated, or you must have a negative test. So, I mean, we're going to make sure that everyone is safe. We're going to have a good time, and we're going to pay tribute to these two guys, Mr. Richard Starr and Mighty Griner.
Now, this is going to be in the garden at the museum?
That is correct. That is correct. Right there at the museum and his society in the garden. And I mean, I was there recently. The last time before I was there, there was no cover, but now there is a cover. You can, you know, but and it's a lovely area. It has everything that you need to come and be comfortable, just to relax. You will have seating, of course, for the patrons when they come, and you're going to be treated to a fantastic show of great performances.
Now, usually when we hear tribute, we expect that some of those who will be on stage will be performing these songs of the individuals who we're paying tribute to. Will this be the case on Sunday?
I'm sure that one or two, a couple of the guys will be throwing in a song from the Mighty Grinder. But hey, a lot of these guys have their own original stuff, and they just want to come and give support to the cause. I mean, presenting the guys with plaques, and yeah, it's just going to be a great time on Sunday. And of course, talking about Sunday and BACA, benevolent fund, oftentimes entertainers or one of us, we run into some difficulties. It doesn't matter sometimes how much savings you may have. You come across a situation where you may get ill or something like that, and you may need some assistance. Not that you weren't prepared sometimes, but in a lot of cases, your money and even your insurance can take you 75% of the way. And what this fund will do is be there for all of us, who at some point in time may need a helping hand along the way. So that's one of the reasons why, we've started this benevolent fund as well.
Now, the concert will be the first activity to go toward that fund. Thereafter, how do you intend as an association to keep shoring the fund up?
Well, definitely we'll be doing several different projects at different times. There will be concerts, there will be drives. I mean, there's so many things that we can do as a community, as an entertainment community. We can get together and do things. I remember one time, just going out and doing a car wash. So we'll be doing several different things over time. And once we put our heads together, we will make sure to get this fund topped up, tippity, tappity, and doing great things and helping each other.
Now, I understand that BACA wants to also ensure that somebody gets to come to this show for free. So they have to call our numbers 228-5562, 228-5563, and you're going to tell them exactly what they need to answer in order to get it, Blood.
Well, let's make it pretty simple. How many tickets are we going to give away? 2 to 1 person?
That's up to you. Yes, 2 to 1.
All right. Well, yeah, 1 person, because you're going to come out and you want to come out with someone that you feel with. So let's see. I called several names of the entertainers who will be performing on Sunday. Name 4. And these tickets are yours. As simple as that. What are the numbers again?
228-5562 and 228-5563. So once they can give the names of 4 people on the card on Sunday, they can win. Now, until those phone lines start to ring up, the organization of itself has been doing quite a bit of promotion in terms of where it wants its members to be, helping them to develop the various aspects of business in entertainment, because that's what we have to see it as first and foremost. Not just a love, not just a passion, but it's a business. What else are we looking at coming down for the rest of the year? I know Cropover is there, so you may want to take a break out of the training and so on. Well, actually, put that on pause. We have a call. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Wendy and Blood. How are you all?
I guess we're both well this morning.
Yeah, Mr. Dale, Betty B. I know how to name. Mr. Dale, Betty B.
You've given me only 2. I'm listening for the other 2.
Give me 2 more, Star.
Mr. Dale, Betty B. Oh, I web and forget the other name that I call you, Gabby.
All right, well, that's 4, yeah. You are a winner.
So what he has to do is to give his information to our producer, and someone from our marketing department will be in contact with you. Do not hang up the phone line, sir. Just stay on the line and give your information so that you can collect those tickets for Sunday, and congrats to you. Now, Blood, is there anything else that patrons coming to this event on Sunday need to be cognizant of other than the COVID protocols?
I think once you've covered yourself as far as the protocols are concerned, all you gotta do is come and enjoy a great evening of entertainment. We try to keep it simple, try to keep it safe, and we just want you to come out and enjoy what we have to offer. You've heard the cast, some of the cast so far, and all you've got to do basically is get your tickets, go out there. Box offices again are Lucky Horseshoe, all 3 locations. That's Worthing, Warrens, and BACA. You've got Carlton and Nawan Supermarket, Emerald City Supermarkets, and Digicel Sky Mall, as well as New Look Boutique. So yeah, go out there, get your tickets, prepare, go and get something nice to wear as well, and come on out on Sunday and have a good time for a great cause.
Yes, and that it is. Paying tribute to 2 icons, Richard Stout and the Mighty Griner. I want to thank you so much for joining me this morning, Anderson Blood Armstrong, who's the Vice President of the Barbados Association of Creatives and Artists. I wish you a terrific Thursday, Blood, as well as a most enjoyable concert on Sunday.
Thank you. You have a fantastic day as well.
Thank you. Well, that's it for our BACA tribute concert, and we will be back after the break.
On Sunday, May 15th, the Barbados Association of Creatives and Artists present the first annual BACA Benevolent Concert under the patronage of Sir Trevor Carmichael at the Barbados Museum and Historical Society. A tribute to 2 Barbadian entertainment icons, Richard Stout and the Mighty Griner. Your contribution is $40 and tickets are available from Ticket Pal. Showtime is 6 p.m. with performances from some of Barbados' best. Don't miss the first annual BACA Benevolent Concert in association with the Barbados Museum and Historical Society, COSGAP, and the CBC, Sunday, May 15th.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And we're back. It's now time to get an update on what's happening news-wise. Here's Shane Seeley.
Thank you, Wendy. Here's your headline news for this Thursday morning. An altercation aboard a Route 10 ZR has left a passenger in critical condition and the conductor nursing stab wounds but in stable condition. This stabbing occurred at about 8:30 last night along Vauxhall Main Road opposite Sheraton Centre. 3 men were reportedly involved. The 43-year-old driver, the conductor, 35 years of age, and the passenger who boarded the route taxi just before the incident as it was traveling along its route to Bridgetown. Now, the conductor and the passenger got into an argument that escalated to the altercation as the vehicle reached the area of Sheraton Centre. The conductor received a puncture wound under his left eye and cuts to his hands. However, the passenger received several stab wounds about the body. The both men were taken to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in separate ambulances for treatment. We are awaiting further details from police on their current condition as lawmen carry out their investigations. Meanwhile, police have their hands full and are on the hunt for the assailant responsible for a number of armed robberies in St. James. The targets have all been female. More in this report from Sharika Griffith.
Residents of Husband St. James and surrounding areas are living on edge after several of them, all women, have been robbed by a knife or cutlass-wielding suspect in recent weeks. Member of Parliament for the area, Sandra Husbands, says it's concerning to say the least.
From time to time, we've had incidences like peeping toms. Sometimes you get petty larceny where someone takes something from out of a garage, that type of thing. But recently, we've noticed a step up in robberies, and this is where they have been attacking females and taking away their purses. Now, this has been extremely unnerving, and within the last 3 to 4 weeks, we've had about 5 such incidences. And I discovered another 1 or 2 this week.
CBC understands in at least one instance, the robber subsequently returned and left the victim's purse outside her home. When a news team visited the Husbands Heights area, few residents were seen outside, although it's unclear if this is a result of recent incidents or if they were simply away at work. One concerned resident who did not wish to be identified said the formation of neighborhood watches has been a way of trying to deter would-be criminals.
We have our community watches, we have our community chats, and we are very, very aware because we have lots of persons who will be home during the day now, retired, vacation, whatever. So we are communicating on a more regular basis, and I would say the network up to a couple of weeks now, we have been getting together more frequently to tackle this situation.
In other news this morning, the Caribbean Examinations Council has responded favorably to a request from the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union to release broad topics for students sitting upcoming examinations. The first set of broad topics were released on Tuesday. The BSU president, Mary-Ann Redmond, in response says this was a major bone of contention. As the union says, this is now critical to help the students prepare for CXC and CAPE examinations. This was her position before the release.
We are very concerned that there has not as yet been the release of broad topics for the students. If we have been fighting and have succeeded in getting that 3 weeks extension, that has been in concert with our understanding that the broad topics would have been released immediately. To have that extended time without the release of the broad topics is an absurdity. The students have to be able to focus on the areas that will allow them to do best in these exams. And the release of broad topics in no way compromises the validity, the reliability, the integrity of the exams. And it is something that international examination bodies have been doing for the last 2 years since the onset of COVID.
And the BSTU boss wants the CXC to release the remaining broad topics as soon as possible, or it could put the students at a serious disadvantage. Of course, we'll bring you more on that story in CBC Newsday. The COVID-19 death toll in Barbados has now reached 431. This after a 70-year-old fully vaccinated man passed away from the virus yesterday. Now, there have been another round of new cases. 513 new COVID-19 cases recorded from 1,697 tests conducted on Tuesday. Of those positive cases, the bulk were in the 18 and older age category, 383. The number of people in isolation facilities was 109, while 4,174 people were in home isolation. And that's our headline news for this Thursday morning, May 12th. I'm Shane Seeley. It's back to you, Andy.
Why, thank you, Shane. And here's hoping you have a terrific Thursday as well. We'll take a break, and when we come back, it's time to get close to your phone lines, little one. It's time to win.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's time for Spell It with PediaSure. Are you going to spell it in 30 seconds?
It's now time for our little ones to win. Can you spell this word? I'll give you the word and then you'll give me a call, 228-5562, 228-5563. If you do win, you can win yourself some PediaSure. So, little ones, let's get to those phone lines and get calling before you're off to school. Let's see how you can spell with me this morning. Now remember, PediaSure is clinically proven to help little kids grow. It serves up a complete and balanced nutrition, helping those little bodies to become nice and strong because of the muscle and bone development that this drink gives. Now have mommy and daddy go on out to the supermarket and get you all of those tasty and exciting flavors. Give me a call, 228-5562, 228-5563 to spell today's word. Remember, those are the numbers. PediaSure. It's sure to bring brain and eye health. Also gives you immune support, which we all need around these COVID times. Keep our bodies protected against that virus. It's also cold season, so let's build up. And remember, if you have a PediaSure in your lunchbox and you may have forgotten your lunch, well, that will hold you for a while until you can get to some nice, nutritious food. But PediaSure is just as nutritious. 228-5562, 228-5563. Let's get spelling, little ones, before you go off to school. I mean, it is common entrance time, so we need to be sure that you know your words so that when it's time to write that common entrance essay, you have all of your topics complete and you can have a wide vocabulary in which you can use to complete that essay on that day. Come to our phone lines, 228-5562, 228-5563, and let's spell it with PediaSure. Do you know how to spell this morning's word? Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. And how old are you?
Fantasia.
Pardon me?
Fantasia.
Oh, Contagious. Oh, your name. Okay, I wanted to know how old you. Fantasia. Oh, you have to speak up. I can't hear you so clearly. Just speak to me on the phone and don't listen to the television. Now, how old are you, Fantasia?
I am 8 years old.
You're 6 years old? Okay. 8! Oh, I can't hear Fantasia very well. You need to speak up. It's time to spell now. The word is glorified. Glorified is our word this morning.
Pardon?
Glorified is our word this morning. You have 30 seconds starting now.
Fantasia.
Yes, you told me your name before, but you have to spell the word glorified. Okay, I'm not hearing little Fantasia anymore. Time is running out, so let's get a call going. Glorified. Remember, don't listen to your television, just talk to me via your telephone so you can hear clearly and spell this morning's word. Glorified. You have 30 seconds once you call and we get going. 228-5562, 228-5563 to win with PediaSure this morning. Can you spell this word? Yes, come along. Let's get going, little ones. Good morning. Trinity is 10. Trinity, spell glorified for me.
Pardon me?
Spell the word glorified.
G-I-L.
Continue. You have 30 seconds. Keep spelling.
Glorified.
Okay, that is indeed the spelling of glorified. So you are a winner this morning with PediaSure. Just stay on the line and give mommy or daddy's information or auntie, whomever you're with, their information so they can come and collect your PediaSure prize. Congratulations to you. PediaSure.
That was Spell It, brought to you in association with PediaSure.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And we're back. We're going to be having a health discussion now with one of our colleagues in Central America. Yes, Dr. Maria Paula Barrera. She's a general physician in Colombia, and she'll be conducting a Zoom on the impact of falls. It's a seminar which will be coming off soon. She works with the FCV, which is one of the top medical complexes in Latin America. It has been voted among the top 10 best hospitals in that region for some time by the prestigious magazine American Economy. Now, good morning to you, Dr. Barrera.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today.
Yes, it's a pleasure for us to have you here. Now, just tell me a little bit about the hospital and the type of work that it does.
Yes, we are a complex. We have two hospitals. We have a cardiovascular institute where we have specialists in cardiology, hemodynamics, heart surgery, everything related to the heart, of course, and we treat all kinds of heart diseases. And we have another hospital, Hospital Internacional de Colombia, HIC, and there we have all the rest of the specialties. And we have also some institutes. So we have Neurological Institute, Oncology Institute, and Orthopedics Institute. That is the one related to the meeting we will have today. We also have something really important that is the JCI accreditation, that it is an international organization that measures some standards in patient safety, and they already certified both hospitals. We are located in Bucaramanga. Bucaramanga is a strange name, but we are a medium-sized city. Everything is close. We have a really good weather, and it is also really safe. So it is a perfect place for patients to recover, to receive treatment and recover. And another thing that I think is really important is that we have an international office. So it is a place dedicated especially for international patients. So we can help you not only with the language, but also with logistic things, with hotel, transport, food, money, and of course we have an assistant team. We have a nurse, we have doctors, so we can guide your treatment and try to help you with everything we can and give you the best treatment we can provide you, of course.
And that was going to be my next question to you. How big is your hospital in the way of medical tourism, and whether or not a lot of people come for the orthopedics and the oncology?
Yeah, we receive a lot of international patients from different countries, especially from the Caribbean islands. And yes, it is a big place. And as I told you before, we have the whole team prepared to receive the patients and to give you all the patients who wants to come the best treatment possible. We also give you all the medical information in English when you have finished your treatment, and we will maintain in contact with you in case you need everything to continue your treatment in your country.
That's wonderful to note. Now, adults over the age of 60 happen to be the ones most at risk for falling. What can we do as a country to reverse this statistic?
Yes, that's the topic we want to talk today in the meeting. But yes, we have some recommendations we want to mention right now, so you get interested and you join us today in the meeting. So including in the recommendations we have, we can include talk to the doctor to check the medications, because sometimes the falls are secondary to some medications that make the patient sleepy or dizzy. So we need to change medications or maybe arrange the schedule of them. Another thing that is really important is to do exercise. It doesn't matter how old are you, you can still move around and do some exercise. So depending on your physical condition, you can do a special training program, or you just can go walking and dancing, or do even Tai Chi, that is really recommended for balance and strength of muscles in the elderly. But any type of exercise you want to do is really important to help your muscles and avoid falls.
Okay.
Another thing that is really important is the vision. So you need to check your vision and update your eyeglasses if you need it, because that will prevent, of course, any fall.
Now, what time is the Zoom and how can we log on?
Okay, we will have the Zoom this afternoon. It will be at 6 p.m. Barbados time, and we will share the link with you so you can join us. We will have a special guest. I will be leading the meeting, but we will have Dr. Gustavo Gomez, who is or the director of the Orthopedics Institute, and he will be talking about specific injuries and specific topics about the falls in the elderly, especially. So yeah, we hope you join us in the meeting today.
What are some of the common injuries that result in our older population when they do fall?
Yeah, we have different injuries in our hospital because it is really big. We see everything, but usually the most common is bone issues and head injuries. So we can have wrist fractures or arm fractures, and one of them that is really important is the hip fracture that can lead to a lot of complication and even the death. So we can have that, and we can also have head injuries and hematomas in the brain. So a fall that can be prevented, if you have it, can cause severe complications in your health.
Now, if I have an elderly relative who should fall and I do take them to the hospital for care, what are some of the main things I should do after hospitalization to ensure that they can fully recover and to prevent further falls?
Okay, well, the after treatment depends a lot on what was the injury. So after the treatment in the hospital, they will give you some recommendations. But as in general, we can try to make the home safer if that was at home, or maintain the person with company if that was outside in the street. And of course, the recommendations that I mentioned before, try to include exercise in the daily routine, check the eyeglasses, so if there's a vision problem, we can fix it and avoid another fall. Try to get the chronic diseases, diabetes, hypertension, heart diseases stable, because if they are not stable, we can have a fall. And it is important to know that in a person that already fall, we have 3 or 2 more times the chance to have another fall. So we need to be really careful with a person that already had a fall, and if they have also a complication of the fall, we need to be really careful with that.
Okay, a complication would be something like if there was maybe something like hip displacement or the bone doesn't reset properly because of age?
Yeah, and even a fracture can cause a clot in the lung or a clot going anywhere in the body. We can have complications with the surgery if the fracture needs surgery, because for the elderly you need to receive anesthesia and different medications. So it is risky than in a person less than 60 years old. So that's why we need to prevent. That's the best way to avoid of this complication is prevent the falls.
Okay, now finally before we go, if they've fallen and we're taking all of our hypertension and diabetes medication, can we put other things into our diet in terms of the foods that we feed to our elderlies to strengthen like nerves and muscles?
The only thing that it is related sometimes with falls is the deficiency of vitamin D. So what we can do in case we consider we need something to supplement is to go to your doctor to check everything, including the vitamin D, and if they consider you need to supplement because your levels of vitamin D are low, well, that would be a good idea. But in general terms, having a healthy diet, eating a lot of vegetables, drinking water during the day, and also avoiding these foods that are not healthy, fast foods, sugary foods, salty foods, that will help the general health. And knowing that you don't have a chronic disease will reduce the chances of falling.
Okay. Well, Dr. Barrera, I will be seeing you and Dr. Gomez this evening at 6 for that seminar on the impact of falls. Yes, it's at 6 this evening, and we can all log on to the Zoom. It's open, it's free to all, so you can learn how to protect your elderly relatives from those falls and so on. So, Dr. Maria Paula Barrera, I want to thank you so much for being my guest this morning on the show. And here's hoping that you have an exciting seminar that's filled with lots of people and lots of questions, because they do need that additional information to keep our elderly population safe.
Thank you for having me, and hope you join today in the meeting.
Thank you so much. Bye. Yes, that was Dr. Barrera there. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, it's going to be time for us to meet our exceptional youth. Yes, it's always so thrilling when we see these young people and all that they're doing within our society. We'll be back.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And welcome back. And if you're now joining us, thanks for tuning in. It's never too late. This morning, we're going to be talking to two young men. They are friends, they go to school together, they play sports together, but now they're even doing business together. Yes, Rashawn Thomas, an engineering student, and Joshua James, a Barbados national footballer. Good morning and welcome to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Now, Rashawn, you are 21 and Joshua happens to be 19. Now, in terms of how you met, you're pursuing two different paths, but you've played football together, both at Harrison College. Now, let's start with you, Rashawn. You're into engineering, but you also have two separate businesses. One dealing with photography and videography and editing, and the other clothing. How did you get there?
Well, I would first start with the engineering. Engineering was something that I was always interested in. I was always good at physics and math, so engineering was a natural choice for me. In terms of the clothing brand, I thought having my own clothing would be a cool area to get into. With my clothing brand, I want it to become like the Nike of Barbados in a sense, and the Razor Studios, the videography and photography. Um, I just happen to have experience because I used to make my own videos. I have experience making videos and taking photos, so I decided to turn that into a business and provide to people.
Okay, and Joshua, at 19, you are a national footballer and you recently traveled to play semi-pro. But you too have a business. It's called Next Up Sports Empire. Tell us about it.
Well, Next Up Sports Empire, as you can see in the name, it's basically to help the youth that are up and coming of Barbados, the talented youth, to basically reach to the next level that unfortunately the ones before us weren't able to reach, whether that was because of the resources or what. We at Next Up Sports Empire are here to reinforce the discipline and basically give them that opportunity as well.
Okay, now how do you and Rashawn connect in business?
Well, roughly last year, Rashawn reached out to me and we had a conversation and we realized that we both have very similar ideas from what I have for Next Up Sports Empire and what he has for his Razor Studios within the videography and photography field. So we decided that, you know what, it makes 100% sense to link together and form a partnership where we can incorporate each other's businesses and get the best for each other.
Okay, so it's all about that symbiotic relationship. Now, Rashawn, sometimes young people don't always work well together, but you decided that Joshua was a good partner. What about him made you want to collaborate?
Well, despite being younger than me, I believe that Joshua is very driven. He has a good head on his shoulders. He knows what he wants, and I believe the company that you keep is most life in terms of achieving certain goals. So it's best to surround yourself with people that are driven and can in turn push you and to do better things. So I believe Joshua is a good business partner, a good friend, and I hope we continue and do great things.
Okay, tell me a bit about the clothing line and the type of designs that you like to put out there.
So the clothing line basically works by different collections. So the first collection I had was very simple, but we still managed to sell all articles of clothing. The second clothing line, as you can see on the screen, is the second collection, is this that is on the screen. As I said, the goal for the brand is to basically become like the Nike of. So the razor symbol is something that you will see a lot in the future. So yeah, for this clothing brand, for this collection, we are providing both a shirt and a three-quarter pants, and we are basically focusing on the casual wear side as well as the sport athletic wear, as would a Nike. So yeah, the goal definitely for Razor is to be like a big global brand like Nike, and it is definitely a brand that I hope the Barbadian public get behind, and we would definitely try to make it as big as possible.
Okay, now Joshua, this clothing brand, you being on the field all the time, are you rocking it?
Well, I would love to. I've seen some of the designs and I'm really impressed with them, so I really hope that I do get the chance to, show off my gear from Razor in the future.
Okay, now tell me about this semi-pro playing that you've been doing. Where were you? What's your position on the field?
Well, I was playing in North London, a team named Hatfield Town in England. I'm a goalkeeper, by the way, so I was roughly there for about 3-4 months playing I started a bit shaky, obviously, because of the conditions. I'm accustomed to the tropics, but then having to go right into the cold weather, it was a bit rough. But then, let's say after the first 2-3 weeks, I acclimatized pretty well, and I had a pretty good stint while I was over there. I impressed a few coaches from 2 other European countries, and have a few more opportunities coming up this summer. So I'm very hopeful for those and see what we can get from those.
Okay. Now, in terms of those opportunities opening up, there are a lot of soccer camps, schools, what have you, and you two are trying to help those that might be younger than you attain these scholarships. If you had to advise them in terms of not just strategy and skill on the field, but in terms of their general demeanor, what would you tell them?
Well, me personally, I would tell them join Next Up Sports Supply, because that's what we're here for. We're here to help them and guide them along the lines, because we basically offer a service called mentorship throughout the recruitment process, which is basically to help guide you and your family to reach that level, whether it's the collegiate level or the professional level.
Okay. And what about you now, Rashawn, in terms of the development of your business and other young people who are interested in entrepreneurship? What would you say to them?
Well, I believe you should follow what you're in. I think in business, best to go that route, because there obviously be times that you wouldn't be seeing the results that you expect, or would not be there's obviously setbacks, but I believe if you're in a field that you're interested in or doing what you love, or like similar to the clothing brand, like that's just something that I decided one day I wanted to do, and I went and did it. So get into something that you're interested in and find a way that you can market it and promote it and sell it, basically. So yeah, that would be my advice.
Okay. Now, before we go off, Joshua, for those little ones, it's summer, parents are looking to get their kids connected so they can be selected. How can they find you?
Well, you can head over to Instagram at NU_Sports Empire, or you can contact us at 288-0449 and give us a WhatsApp message or give us a call, and we will contact you directly after.
Okay. And Rashawn, if I wanted to get some Razor clothing or photo shoot booked, where would I find you?
So the Instagrams are razor.clothing on Instagram and razor.media on Instagram. And my number is 287-7343.
Okay. Two exceptional young men. I want to say congrats to both of you. Keep setting the bar higher, and I hope you attain and achieve everything that you desire in business and in life. Have a great morning, guys.
All right, thank you. Same to you.
That was, you're most welcome, Rashawn Thomas and Joshua James, two exceptional youth out there helping to raise the standard and the bar, because we tend to condemn our young men a lot, but it's great to see when they're doing well. We'll be back in a bit.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
That is what we love. That is what we love. That is what we love. That is what we love, eh? Dangerous, eh? Start the pumping, yeah, yeah, yeah. Up to something, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hear the chanting, eh, eh, eh. It's choppy, yeah, 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 yeah. A pretty girl and a bacchanal. That is what we love. How you mean, eh? That is what we love. That is what we love.
And that is what we love. Sweet soca music and Cropover. The season is upon us and the new releases are dropping. And what you just heard was the new release of Kimar Trotty Trotman for 2022. Good morning to you, Trotty.
Good morning, Mom. How are you doing?
I am well. I hope you are too.
I'm great. I'm great.
We are all smiles, so it means that you are happy that Cropover has started. How does it feel to be back out?
Feels great, man. Feels refreshing.
Okay.
Just to be back out, to be partying and bring music.
All righty. Now, what we love is catchy, it's groovy, it's a little slower. Why this tempo?
I won't say I chose the tempo. It's just the vibe that I had, and I went with it. So it was more of a feeling rather than a choice.
Okay, so but then again, that's what it's about this season, isn't it? Catching the vibe.
It's true. It's true.
It is. It is. Now, tell me about this song. Who wrote it with you? Who produced it? That type of thing. Tell me about it.
Well, I wrote this song 3 years ago, prior before COVID. Additional writings by Shaquille Lane, and it was produced by Dwayne Dress. The song is just a simple song about enjoying yourself. What we really love about Cropover be girls, bacchanal, and drinks.
Bacchanal and drinks. That's what it's about this season.
Yeah, that's all it's about.
No, when Trotty is not looking to play music, sing, and enjoy himself on the stage, what else does he get up to?
I'm into farming, pig farming, crops as well. I have a degree in accounting, so I'm searching for some accounting jobs, but I mainly do farming right now.
Okay, and I guess you are using your accounting to run that farm.
Of course.
Okay, because I mean, right now prices are up for you in terms of your feed, so I guess that accounting comes in very handy.
It's very handy. Sometimes it's challenging, to be honest, because you don't want to kill the customer and so on and so forth, but you have to do what you have to do.
It is very true, because Trotty also has to be in studio, so money has to come in terms of doing that record production.
Yes, Mom.
It's true. You have to find that money. Now, you're on Instagram at King Trots. Have you put the song up there already on your account?
Yeah, the song is on your account. You can find the song in the bio and so forth. It's also on YouTube. Just type in Trotty and What We Love and the song will be there.
Okay. Now, it's a lyric video you've done. Are you going to do a full music video?
I'm still thinking about it. Just studying the budget right now, and I'll work from there.
Okay, so is it what makes the decision when it comes down to doing the video to the song, as just opposed to putting out, you know, a more simplified lyric video? What inspires you? Do you have to think that, okay, this song is going to tear up all the airwaves for me to go that extra mile, or is it just, as you said, catch the vibe?
Is it feeling as well? Also, you'll be studying the budget. Well, you'll be studying the budget. But in terms of tearing the areas, I think that way every single year, to be honest, I can tear the areas and do good. But in terms of bringing out a music video, it's just how the traction the song gets. So if the song gets more traction and rotation and stuff, I would decide, well, it's time to put the lyrics in a video, bring the lyrics to life. And that's about it.
Now, how long has Trotty been up to this?
Well, I ain't count COVID, so 4 years.
Yeah, well, that's true, because you weren't doing much with anything. Now, will this be your only release for Cropover 2022?
Yeah, this will be my only release for the year, yeah.
Okay. What are some of the things you're hoping to do with this song in terms of performances?
Well, you said it already, tear the areas. I would love to perform at Soak Up on the Hill with this song. Probably enter some competitions and do good as well.
Okay. Now, in terms of the music that you've been hearing so far in this season, does it seem as if people are taking their time, or is it coming steady?
It's coming steady. You know, Bashment, around this time, Bashment usually takes over the areas as early as, say, late April. So Bashment Soca is what got the areas banging right now, which happens every crop over season in the beginning because this is the first type of music that is released. And I think the music coming steady. I have seen releases almost every single day from whether it be new artists or seasonal artists. So it's coming.
Okay. So it's coming. What we love. But you love it. But are you so sure that the rest of us love all this stuff in that song?
You love it, Andy?
I love Cropover.
You can love this song then. Once
I
you love
love
it, I know the rest of
Cropover.
the gonna love it.
Okay. Now, was it inspired by anything in particular?
Not really. Was just searching for a song. I had wrote it 3 years ago. I think 3 years ago, and I remember just sitting down, and the first thing that came to mind was a pretty girl and a bacchanal. That is what we love. That is what we love. And I immediately sent the song to Shaquille Lane, and he sent me back a demo. So he's the additional writer on the song. He sent me back a demo with couple piano playing, I think it was, and we went from there.
Okay. Does the rhythm have a name? Because I'm seeing all types of new rhythms with all kinds of strange names this year. Does it have one?
Nah. No, the rhythm doesn't have a name. It was made especially for the song.
Okay. Well, that means you have all the copyright then to give it a name.
Yes, ma'am. It's true.
All righty. Well,
What we love rhythm.
Yes, well, what we love, and that's a rhythm, and that will be a vibe every day. Once we do what we love, we'll be happy and smiling just like how you are, Trotty. I want to say congrats to you on your release and have an exceptional Cropover season.
Okay, thanks a lot. You have a good day.
Thank you, and you're welcome. That was Trotty, one of the youngsters out of the block there for Cropover 2022. When we come back after the break, we'll be bringing you more new music.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All the girls that know that them bad and bougie. I walk on a show bit tough. One back babies, come baby girl. On pretty knees and break it off. High heel girls kick them off. Piece of weak, belt it off. One back baby, and if you're hard ears, you will get your lashes and lister bubble and stick. Lashes and lister bubble and stick. Lashes and lister bubble and stick. Lashes and lister. Then if she hard ears, she will get real lashes. Bump out the fender vehicle and crash it. She hollering for you underneath, but no masses will left them bumpers in action.
Red Dead Rhythm. Yes, the Noise Boys are at it again, and they're producing Akil Lynchy Lynch along with Dario Sandman Ward. This is their release for Cropover 2022 called Lashes and Licks. Now, guys, I'm not sure if I'm ready to take any lashes and licks, but I like the little bashment.
It's definitely. I don't think we want to give you any lashes and licks though.
Okay, but that's good to know. I am happy to know that much. Now, Lynchy, Sandman.
Yes, please.
Tell me about this song.
Well, I can start. Salman,
Yeah.
what happened was, we went to Noise Boys, and I told them I want to bring a bashment, and this was in 2018, I think it was. We said, yeah, we want to bring out a bashment for Cropover, obviously 2019. Or this was 2019 going into 2020, yes, because this was the year prior to COVID. And Jamar said, yo, Lynchy, don't worry about it. I can build something for you. I told him, well, what I'm looking at. I give him some similar rhythms, And then, you're right. And it was like, yo, this crazy. Shortly after Salman penned majority of the song. I just added my little bits and pieces, but Salman penned of the song. From there, I mean, we had to wait a couple of years until, let's say, COVID resulted. Yeah, we're here now.
Okay, so tell me about the writing, Sandman.
Well, honestly, it was a vibe that I had for a couple of years. But just trying to find the right rhythm to put it on, and Noise Boys, they was the perfect people who had the right rhythm. Lynchy had tell me, come true, listen to the rhythm. And they said, well, let me try it. And we tried, and here we are now with Lashes and Licks. I think one of the hottest bashment soakers on the radio right now.
Definitely.
So tell me, Sandman, how do we get this mix fixed in? BDF, training, and bashment. Tell me about that mix.
I even know when I had all that background info on me.
Oh, you want to say hidden? But I've exposed it now.
To be honest, I had a love for the music from the time I was going to school. So in 2016, I had met with some guys, and I told them, well, I want to try this soca thing because I love music. So I tried it, and I just keep continuing with it. Fortunately enough, the BDF agreed that Sandman should be them soca artists, so ain't a problem for them, ain't a problem for me. I mean, time does be rough to get in the studio and what's not, but make things work to keep bringing on good music.
Okay. Now, Lynchy, is this rhythm a different vibe for you altogether than what you're accustomed to?
Previous years I would have sang what we would call the sweet soca, but bash was in birth. I love it. From school, I used to do chants, I used to do, like, so I always loved the bashment element. I actually brought up some bashment tunes prior to, I would say, 2016 when I started to take soca seriously. But since then, this would be my first official bashment release. Yeah.
And how are you feeling it so far?
Like Salman said, this is definitely one of the hottest bashment tunes. And I think it can keep that way for the season. Lashes and Licks. I mean, as soon as it was sent out everywhere, yo, this tune is crazy. I had DJ setting me up. I had every one of my friends, people I didn't even know, following me, telling me, yo, this tune is crazy. How can I get it? What's not? And yeah, I mean, the Red Dead rhythm is crazy on the whole. But hey, I gotta say, man, we got the hardest track on the rhythm. I gotta say.
Big up to Noise Boys. Big up to Noise Boys.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out Noise Boys.
Noise Boys.
Okay, so Sandman, are we going to be looking to bring this track on the stage, or are we just looking at radio stations?
Well, definitely it won't get on the stage and march. It will not be walking up, it will be marching.
So you're not allowed to walk up on stage?
Of course.
I don't think our army is that restrictive. They know that walking up is our culture. And listen though, let's not play with it. The best fets used to be at the BDF.
Definitely, we actually had meetings here at BDF, and that was awesome. That we go back to recent years, but yeah, I'm definitely looking to get some performances in. To keep the track rotating in the ears of Barbados, and look forward for some more good songs coming from me and Lynchy as well.
Okay, so this is not the only showing we're going to be having for 2022. Something else is coming in the mix before the season ends?
Well, from me, I
Well,
think
in terms of the
Lynchy, you
collab,
finish with your releases?
I finished with my releases. I got this MIA Missing in Action and the collab. But we get some, man, we will definitely collab in the future for sure. I actually cook up something for next year.
Okay, well that is awesome that you'll be hooking up going into the new year. Now, in 2019, you had Shake for Me as well, Dario. How does this compare to that for you?
Well, I like the groovy. I like groovy soca. I could more relate to that because I like to more than likely tell stories in my songs. But you just try every field, and just love the music. So you try every field. Yeah, because honestly, it's just the vibe. I just like to vibe, and whatever vibe hit me, I go with.
Okay, well keep going with the vibe this season, guys, because that seems as though it's where everybody is going. Dario Sandman Ward and Akil Lynchy Lynch. It was my pleasure to have you two soca artists on the show this morning, and here's to a happy and successful Cropover for both of you.
Thank you very much, and you do have a good, wonderful day.
And don't share the lashes and licks for real. Just in the music. Thanks for coming, guys.
All right. You have a good day.
Thank you. Yes, that was another release for Cropover 2022. So big things seem to be on the horizon as we get all kinds of music coming out. Well, remember, it's Thursday, so do have a terrific Thursday. It was a pleasure being with you this morning. I'm Wendy Burke.
Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Go and get my balloon.